So you've picked your truck, you might even know like what color you're gonna get, what trim level. I mean, you've got a lot of the options probably nailed down, but maybe you're hung up on whether or not you want a short bed or a long bed, or sort of the in-between, the mega cab. And I don't really mean in between, but I'll get to that in a minute. I just wanted to give like kind of a brief rundown. I'm not going to go through like exact amounts of like foot room in inches and things like that, because that's super boring, and I'm sure somebody else has done a video covering those things, or you can read about that online. Here's my take on it. My first truck, 2016 Laramie 2500 Cummins with a short bed. This truck, 2017 Laramie 2500 Cummins with a short bed. I am absolutely not going to tell you that there is no reason for people to get a long bed. I think there absolutely is, and I guess I'll just share with you why I went with a short bed 2 times and am 100% happy that I did it. So, number one, as you can probably tell from my collared shirt, my actual job is not like carrying sheets of plywood and sheetrock around. It's more of a desk job. However, I do stuff that, you know, outside of the office, like I, you know, haul bark dust, I haul gravel, we tow a horse trailer. I mean, you know, I'm not like, it's not a work truck specifically, but it definitely isn't just like a pavement princess. So for me, having this heavy duty truck that's already really big, but doesn't necessarily feel super big, like it is pleasant to drive, adding the additional, I think it's 1 foot and 8 inches. It's a 6 foot 4 inch bed, I believe, on this truck, and then it's an 8 foot bed on the long bed. Adding that 1 foot, you know, 1 foot and 2/3 basically, number one, I don't like the way it looks as much, and no one really cares about that, so let's move on to something functional. And that is that although there are some downsides to having a short bed, having a long bed is going to be extremely difficult for you to park anywhere. It really adds to the overall length of the truck. It affects the turning radius. It has some issues with approach and departure angles in terms of off-roading, and I think really can be a hindrance in certain situations. If you're towing a fifth wheel or a gooseneck, like if you're really just like a towing and hauling person and that's the purpose of your truck, and you have like a ranch or a farm and you're not taking it into the city and having to deal with traffic and stuff like that, then there may be some serious benefits to a long bed. With a short bed, like I got the fifth wheel prep group with this, and one guy, as I'm actually talking to him on the phone, like getting a quote for my custom order, was like, why would you ever want a fifth wheel prep package with a short bed? Well, here's the deal. I don't necessarily want to haul a fifth wheel, but I do want to haul a gooseneck. The reason why it's an issue for a fifth wheel and for some goosenecks is because when you are taking a really sharp turn, or when you are backing up specifically, you run the risk of actually running your gooseneck or your fifth wheel trailer into the back of your cab. I'll see if I can find some pictures. If not, you can probably imagine what that looks like. So that's not really a positive day. So what people do when they tow a fifth wheel trailer with a short bed is they actually have to have a special fifth wheel receiver, a special fifth wheel hitch that slides, so that when they're backing into their camp spot or wherever, like whatever the case is, they can actually get a little bit of extra room away from the cab, so they can cut those turns really short and, you know, kind of make up for what you give up with having the short bed in terms of just your backup angle being a potential issue. The other thing is that it's generally more stable for you to have a longer bed. Like your longer wheelbase is generally more stable for towing large amounts of weight. And, you know, like there is an argument for, I think, both. Again, I am not carrying huge amounts of big sheets of plywood or sheetrock or just massive amounts of like multiple cords of wood in the bed of my truck. That is not what I am personally doing with my truck. I will be towing a rather substantial gooseneck horse trailer, because I've reached the conclusion that I don't need both a toy hauler and a horse trailer when I can just basically turn a gooseneck horse trailer with living quarters into a toy hauler of sorts if I can get over the delightful smell left behind by horses, which I can. So, like, I went with the short bed because it's much easier to park, and my opinion is it looks a lot better. Like, I don't need a long bed, and I know people say, like, well, you can always, like, you can't make a short bed longer. You can always like not use all of the long bed. It's like, okay, well, yes, that's true, but I just don't see that you're gonna have like a daily reason to be like, man, I'm truly happy I got this long bed. Again, unless you like live on a ranch or a farm, or it's a work truck and its dedicated purpose is not to be like a daily driver and to do some other stuff, but is to do work. So that brings me to the concept of the mega cab. Here are the two things that you need to know, in my opinion, about the mega cab. Number one, it is a short box truck on a long box frame. So it's on the long bed frame, so all of the disadvantages that I just talked about, the potential disadvantages of having a long box, definitely apply to the mega cab. The other thing that you really should know, and that really surprised me, and I actually found out from one of my subscribers, or one of my viewers, I should say, who we were talking about towing capacity, and he mentioned that his mega cab has a much different towing capacity than an equivalent crew cab, such as this one. Okay, well, I'm thinking it's long box, so like maybe that's better. Nope, it's about 3,000 pounds less. So this truck, approximately 17,000 pounds of towing capacity, give or take. There's some trim levels that are above that, some that are slightly below it, like the Limited. However, a mega cab, an equivalent mega cab, is right about 14,000 pounds. That is getting awfully close to the realm of the half ton and 5/8 pickup, like the Titan XD, for instance. And that's kind of weird to me. I also think that the mega cab, I get the purpose for it. If I had like a big family and we were going on long road trips, if I were towing a vehicle or a trailer like a toy hauler or whatever a long way, it would be nice to have that extra legroom in the back. The seats recline in the mega cab. There's a ton of room, and the seats also fold forward from the factory, which is not the case on the crew cab. Why that may be of importance to you is that you can actually apparently fit a full twin mattress in the back seat of the mega cab. I would never have the need to do that, at least I hope not, because that will mean I have lost my home, but have continued to pay on my truck, and that's not really a position that I want to find myself in. But it is kind of nice to know that if you needed to, you can legitimately put a bed back there. So it's, oh hey, twin turbo 300ZX. Nope, just a faker. Somebody just bought the spoiler on the back, but still a good looking car. So my opinion is, I think the crew cab short bed is just the best truck for me. Is it the best truck for everyone else? Certainly no. I know a lot of you guys have mega cabs. I know a lot of you guys have the long bed, and I think that there are definitely applications where that is a superior truck. It's just not the case for me. So for whatever that's worth, my coworker actually bought a truck almost identical to my last one after looking at my last truck, and I was a little pissed about that at first. Let's hit this puddle real quick. Oh, sorry, buddy. And then he showed me pictures of it, and he goes, get this, the long bed and the short bed were the same price, so I got the long bed. Like, that's literally the worst reason I have ever heard for why you got a long bed, but that's, again, just my opinion. So I was less mad at that point because he, got a long bed, and that's not my jam, but those things are out there, and I just would ask yourself, like, what you're really looking to do with it. Are you like me? Are you going to be doing some work with it and some towing with it, but a lot of it's going to be just tootling around and tootling around? I'm sorry. So are you like me, going to be doing some towing and hauling for sure, but a lot of your time is also going to be spent navigating places like this where an 8-foot bed hanging out behind you is a lot to deal with? Then maybe a short bed's best for you. Do you have a big family, or do you have like a family of freakishly tall people? Because in that case, mega cab might be a good fit. But just remember that the mega cab does have some really cool features: the reclining seats, the seats that fold forward, tons of leg room. But it is on the long bed frame, which means that is going to affect its capability off-road, and the reduced towing capacity really surprised me, and I think that is a tremendous downside to the mega cab, and that would be a deal breaker for me. The long bed, again, no disrespect intended, just that is not the truck for me, but is absolutely what you should go with if you are towing a large amount of weight regularly, or if you have a dedicated work truck. That is my opinion. The last part that I'll cover with this is the concept of the drop-in or slide-in camper. So if you are looking at a slide-in camper, then you have a couple things to look at, and that is really like payload isn't going to be much different between the short bed and the long bed, but the size of your slide-in camper is going to be affected by about 1.8 feet. So if you want a slide-in camper, I would say, you know, again, are you a super tall person, need a bunch of room? Then you might want to go with a long bed. For me, if I wanted a camper, I think you can find plenty of them that really make nice use of the 6'4" bed that's in this truck, and you may want to consider the fifth wheel prep group in that case because it comes with a 7-pin wiring harness built in, and that is very useful if you have a camper. So if you have any questions, please let me know in the comment section, and I will see you guys next time. Take care. Made it.